Yep. It's about to go down. It's about to go down. Oh, let me check something. Let me see. Hold on. Let me get it. Hold on. I got you, bro. Just give me 1 second. I got you, brother. Boom. Yeah. How everybody doing? How everybody doing on this beautiful day? Oh, I know it's a little chilly back here. Give a second for a couple of my mufti to jump on my other platform. We're gonna share some information you might have heard or you might not have heard, and everything that I speak on, I share. I have a full library. If anybody interested in it, I'll send it to your email. But I'm gonna show you that nothing new under the sun, and everybody have their own journey. My journey is different from everybody else's. But when I talk about things, these are a lot of things I was introduced to. So I bring it back to my people and I show y'all nothing is new under the sun. This stuff already been talked about, lectured about. And do anybody know who John Coleman is? Anybody know who John Coleman is? I'm gonna illuminate something real fast. John Coleman. Anybody familiar with the name John Coleman and what it's attached to and what he illuminated? We're about to illuminate something, so just give me a second. Give me a couple seconds and we ready, baby. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I'm gonna offer it too. I'm gonna offer it today. Yeah, I'm gonna offer it. First piece, y'all. I don't know if everybody can hear me. But peace. Share this. Get the likes up, man. Share it with your friends and family. Gratitude for everybody tuning in. Get those likes up. Please share it. But if anybody ever heard of John Coleman, and remember, I always talk about it's nothing new under the sun. A lot of times people are just not introduced to the wisdom. And being initiated is nothing wrong when you're a truth teller, when you're a truth seeker, when you're a true Gnostic. You have to be initiated into the wisdom. It's just like when you're a scholar. That's a form of initiation because it's a thing called peer-reviewed scholarly research. And it's a way that scholars study. No matter what color you are, no matter what religion you are, no matter what you profess, you cannot let your personal feelings or your personal degree mess up the scholarship. So when I talk about things, when I say, hey, it's nothing new under the sun, and then when I talk about the Tavistock Institution of Human Relations, and then I ask anybody, have they ever heard John Coleman in these lectures, which I had the pleasure to not only listen to, and I tell everybody I'm part of the Philosophical Research Society, so it's just a part of history and a part of wisdom that some people may not have heard anyone speak on or even had the pleasure to touch some of the, how can I say it, history that others speak on, which some may call elite. So I'm gonna talk about a couple chapters and highlight the chapters. I may illuminate maybe chapter 1 and 2, but listen to this topic. I don't know if everybody ever seen this or heard of it. And like I told you, they play with prices of books and stuff, especially when there's wisdom in it. The prices be played with over and over. Right now, this piece of wisdom might not cost that much. It used to be over $1,000 on Amazon, but it's not. And I have it for you. I convert a lot of stuff to ebooks and stuff. But when I talk about the Tavistock Institution of Human Relations, shaping the moral, the spiritual, the cultural, political, and the economic decline of the United States of America. And what I talk about, like, is nothing new under the sun. Even before I get into that, when I get back to AZ, my professor gave me this card game, and it's an old card game from the 90s. And it's an Illuminati card game. And, he was a part of different societies and stuff. And sometimes, I can't say sometimes, but for myself, I was just connected to different people in my walk of life. I was just connected to professors that didn't discriminate on the wisdom with me. I'm from Flint, Michigan, so when I moved to Arizona, my whole life changed. I'm telling you, my whole life changed. The people I met, all the different sages and the different European Masons and Scottish Rite Masons that know about Noble Drew Ali, the lectures that I had the pleasure to lecture at, the Masonic houses, the colleges, all those connections mean something. So when I talk about the Philosophical Research Society, and when I talk about the Tavistock Institution of Human Engineering, when I say forget the religion, I'm Sufi, I'm Tasawwuf, so I don't believe in nothing outside of myself. I understand what you believe in, that's fine. You Al-Islam Muslim, you this, you that, and the other, I'm down with the triple rose. I have a clear understanding. But the next level of wisdom is understanding how the world operates. And when you operate way above, when I tell people a lot of our brothers are in the rat race and don't even know it. And so that's what I'm talking about, the Tavistock Institution of Human Engineering, because a lot of our brothers and sisters is just not introduced to the wisdom, and they don't sit down and listen for a minute. We'll do all the other things in life, but we won't sit down and get wisdom. We won't seek out wisdom. We'll wait till we in trouble. But I'm trying to save your life. I'm trying to show you how not to get in trouble. I'm trying to show you what to do. I'm trying to show you how you can have brothers amongst you that when the pressure's on, it's a hit. This is what this is about. Growth and development, universal, international. So when I talk about things and overcoming and telling my brothers and sisters it's nothing new under the sun, don't get caught up in the rat race. Don't get caught up in this human engineering per se, because what I'm speaking on, it's already been done. So the Tavistock Institution for Human Relations, listen to this, shaping the moral, the spiritual, the cultural, the political, and the economic decline of the United States. The Tavistock Institution for Human Relations has had a profound effect on the moral, the spiritual, the cultural, the political, and the economic policies of the United States of America and Great Britain. It has been in the front line of the attack of the U.S. Constitution and state constitutions. No group did more to propagandize the U.S. to participate in World War I at that time when the majority of the American people were opposed to it. Much the same tactics were used by the social science scientists at the Tavistock to get the United States into World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Serbia, and both wars in Iraq. Tavistock began as propaganda, creating and disseminating organizations at Wellington House in London in the run-up to World War I, what Toynbee called the black hole of disinformation. On another occasion, Toynbee called Wellington House a lie factory. From a somewhat crude beginning, Wellington House evolved into the Tavistock Institution and went on to shape the destiny of Germany, Russia, Britain, and the United States in the highly controversial manner. The people of the nations were unaware that they were being brainwashed. The origin of mind control, interdirectional conditioning, and mass brainwashing is explained in an essay to understand this wisdom written by a great author and great authority. The Fall of Dynasties. The Bolshevik Revolution, World War I and World War II, saw the destruction of old alliances and boundaries. The convulsions in religion, morals, family life, economic and political conduct, the cadence in music and art can all be traced back to mass indoctrination, mass brainwashing, practiced by the Tavistock Institution social science scientists. Prominent amongst Tavistock faculty were Edward Bernays, Bernays, the double nephew of Sigmund Freud. It is said that Herr Goebbels, propaganda minister in the German Third Reich, used methodology devised by Bernays and well those of Willy Munzenberg, whose extraordinary career is touched upon in the work about the past, present, and future. Without Tavistock, there would have been no World War I or World War II, no Bolshevik Revolution, Korea, Vietnam, Serbia, and Iraq War. But for the Tavistock, the United States would not be rushing down the road to dissolution and collapse. So, in this piece of wisdom, which is historical, that I tell people professor's been lecturing on this, John Coleman lecturing on it. I had the lecture on, I can send it to you. You can put it up on YouTube. He lectured this at universities a long time ago. Just like Peter Moon used to lecture about the prophet, Noble Ali. Peter Moon lectured at GCU, my alma mater. So chapter 1 is founding the world's premier brainwashing institution. Europe falls off the precipice. How times were made to change. Social engineering and social scientists. Do we have H.G. Wells called an invisible government? Mass communications ushered in the polling industry. The making of public opinion. Degrading women and decline of moral standards. That sounds familiar right now, don't it? Degrading women and decline of moral standards. Wow. And you see that right now on social media, don't you? How individuals and groups react to blending fact with fiction, just like in our science, truth and falsehood strangely mix. Why can't we tell the truth? So help me God. Why people want to make things up and be so acting like it's dogma and ain't no one went to no courts. It ain't no precedent in law. It ain't no doc number. It ain't nothing that happened. It's all we heard or someone heard. Polling comes of age, the paradigm shift in education, Lewin's doctrine of identity change, the induced decline of Western civilization between two world wars. America is not a homeland. The media's role in propaganda, scientific propaganda, can deceive the very elite. Propaganda and psychological warfare. Wilson gets the U.S. into World War I thanks to propaganda. In history being repeated, the case of Lord Bryce, the Black Art of Successful Lying, the Gulf War, 1991, the Soldiers' Memorial and World War I cemeteries. Peace is not popular. The Tavistock Institution, Britain's control of the U.S., brainwashing saves a U.S. president, Tavistock's assault on the U.S., and how media core politicians, actors, and singers are puffed. The Tavistock formula that got the U.S. into World War II, how Tavistock makes well people sick. Topological psychology gets the U.S. in the war in Iraq. My choice of candidate, not my choice. Zero growth in agriculture and industry, America's post-industrial society, exposing the upper level, parallel, secret government, Interpol in the U.S., its origin and purpose exposed, the cults of the East, Indian Company, the music industry, mind control, propaganda, and war. And so when I speak of these things, when I tell brothers and sisters, it's nothing new under the sun. It's nothing new under the sun. So when we talk about the Tavistock Institution of Human Relations shaping the moral, the spiritual, the cultural, the political, and the economic decline of the United States, you know, the Tavistock Institution of Human Relations was unknown to the people of the United States before Dr. Coleman exposed its existence in his monography. The Tavistock Institution of Human Relations, Britain's control of the United States, up to that time, Tavistock has successfully retained its secretive role in shaping the affairs of the United States, its government, and its people since the early beginning in London in 1913 at Wellington House. So when I tell brothers and sisters, this is a rabbit race, this is a repeated race. If brothers and sisters slow down and come, I show brothers and sisters, your own brothers, man, come on, man. What I'm trying to say, you have to know a Jedi mind trick, no matter what color it is. This is what I'm saying. And these people and these individuals are not that smart. Understand what we showing. And so when it comes down to something simple as what we dealing with brothers in our society, it should be easily dispersed. But since Dr. Coleman's original article exposing the ultra-secret organization, others have come forward with claims of authorship, which they were unable to substantiate. Tavistock began as propaganda creating and disseminating organization centered at Wilmington House, which was there. The organization was put together with the intent of shaping a propaganda outlet that would break down the stiff public resistance being encountered to the looming war between Britain and Germany. And so also when I talk about academia today, and I say it's a thing called the reading list, it's a thing called program learning. Just like when I lectured at GCU, when I was showing my professors, which are European potentates, when I was lecturing that the Willie Lynch letter is fake, you know, and Roots is fake, all that, and show how Roots came from a European writer named Harold Colander. And that's propaganda. And so when I show these things and lecture these things from this specific aspect and be like, wait a minute, these things are known. When I say it's nothing new under the sun. Think about it. Think about it. So when people be like, well, how these things happen when we talk about connections and everything is connected, if you understand real civics, the project was given to Lords Rothermere and Northcliffe, and their mandate was to produce an organization capable of manipulating public opinion and directing that manufactured opinion down to the desired pathway to support for a declaration of war by Great Britain against Germany. And it's the same way with false information. It's the same way. It's the same way. And when we say what our schools teach, they start us off at this slavery part. And I say, man, it's more history. That's why it's certain things that we're working on now. And I'm glad that I'm connected with other people to get a lot of things that we're working on in the schools, you know, to get this funding and teach not only history, teach some other things that can bring another thought process to our youth, because we're more than just athletes, and we just have to bring things to our youth to introduce it to them, and even others. But that's a whole nother story, but let's proceed. But funding was provided by the British royal family and later by the Rothschilds, to whom Lord Northcliffe was related through marriage. Arnold Toynbee was selected as director of future studies. Two Americans, Walter Lippmann and Edward Berniers, were appointed to handle the manipulation of American public opinion in preparation for the entry of the United States into World War I. And see, when you have the pen, you see what I'm saying? And to brief and direct President Woodrow Wilson. From a somewhat crude beginning at Wilmington House, grew an organization that was to shape the destiny of Germany, Britain, and more specifically, the United States, in a manner that became a highly sophisticated organization to manipulate and create public opinion, which is commonly termed as mass brainwashing. And that's what happened to our brothers and sisters in our community. When you see all these scams going on in a misnumbered black community, in a misnumbered conscious community, I told you, one thing, black has no rights in law. So that's why you don't see too many people getting caught up in that. They get caught up in something else. And then that just be more. But now what's happening is a light on that as well. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. Brainwash. But during the course of evolvement, Tavistock expanded its size and ambition when in 1937, a decision was made to use the German author Oswald Spengler's monumental work. Remember? Untergange des Ablandes, the decline of Western civilization, as their motto or prototype per se. So I'm just setting the precedent, y'all. So previously, Wilmington House board member Rothmer, Northcliffe, Lippmann, and Bernies had read and proposed as a guide the writings of Cora Moylan Walsh. Walsh, get that Walsh name in your head. In particular, the book, The Climax of Civilization. That's an important piece of wisdom, the climax of civilization, as corresponding closely to conditions that had to be created before a new world order in a one world government could be ushered in. Oh, I'm sorry, somebody, oh yeah, let me write your name down. Hold on, I'm sorry about that. Let me write this brother's name down before I forget. Sorry about that, y'all. Give me 1 second. Yeah. All right, let's go. Let's get back in it. Let's get back. But in this endeavor, the members of the board consulted with the British royal family, y'all, and obtained the approval of the Olympians, the inner core of the Committee of the 300, to formulate a strategy. Funding was provided by the monarchy, the Rothschilds, the Milner Group, and the Rockefeller Family Trust. And in 1936, Spengler's monumental work had come to the attention of what had become the Tavistock Institution. And in preparation for changing and reshaping public opinion for the second time in less than 12 years, by unanimous consent of the board, Spengler's massive book was adopted as the blueprint for a new working model to bring about the decline and fall of Western civilization necessary to do what? Create and establish what? A new world order inside a one world government. And Spengler held it bound to happen that alien elements would be introduced into the Western civilization in increasing numbers, and that the West would fail at that time to expel the aliens, thereby sealing its fate, a society which inward beliefs and sound convictions would become at variance with the outward profession, and thus Western civilization will fall by the wayside in the manner of the ancient civilizations of Greece and Rome. Just setting the precedent. Tavistock thinking was that Spengler had indoctrinated Western civilization to believe that it would err on the side of the Roman civilization and expel the aliens. Listen to this. but that the fallen, excuse me, the genetic loss that has fallen upon European and especially on Scandinavian, England, Germany, France, the Anglo-Saxon, the Nordic Alpine, the Germanic races that began just before the Second World War is already so great as to be beyond expectations and continues at an alarming pace under the skilled guidance of the Tavistock managers. What was a very rare instance became a common occurrence, a black man married to a white woman or vice versa. So the two world wars cost the German nation almost one quarter of its population, and most of the intellectual energies of the German nation were diverted into war channels in defense of the fatherland at the expense of science, arts, literature, music, cultural, spiritual, and moral advancements of the nation. And the same could be said of the British nation, because the blaze kindled by the British under the direction of Tavistock set all of Europe on fire and did incalculate like damages according to the Tavistock blueprints that matched Spencer's predictions. So that whole precedent of what was going on is brainwashing, and how Tavistock was, if it was an old world order, then how all this propaganda and this new world order shaped some things, you know? So I want to speed up to a certain a topic. Okay, let's get to this point. The planners at the Tavistock saw that the way to upset the balance of Western civilization was to force unwelcome changes into the race by removing control from the deserving to the undeserving, in the manner of ancient Roman leaders who were supplanted by their former slaves and aliens, whom they had permitted to come and dwell amongst them. You hear that, right? Tavistock by 1937 had come a long way from its Wilmington House beginnings and the successful propaganda campaign that had turned the British public from being strongly anti-war in 1913 to willing participants through the arts of manipulation with the willing cooperation of news communication medias. And the technique was carried across the Atlantic in 1916 to manipulate the American people to support the war in Europe, in spite of the fact that the vast majority, including at least 50 U.S. senators, were adamantly opposed to the U.S. getting dragged into what they perceived was essentially a quarrel between Britain and France on one hand and Germany on the other, largely over trade and economics. The conspirators were undeterred. And at that point, Wilmington House introduced what? The isolationists. Remember, as a derogatory description of those Americans who oppose U.S. participation in the war. Think about what's going on now when I say, y'all, nothing's new under the sun. I'm setting a precedent. I'm saying something, and I hope you're catching what I'm saying. Look where we at. The use of such words and phrases has proliferated under the expert brainwashing of the social scientists at Tavistock. Terms like regimen change, collateral damage, became almost the new English language. I hope y'all catching the language. Remember I said everything is a language. Listen to everything is a script. I can go back and show you. I'll be like, oh, Sheik, you'll be like, this is that. I'm like, yeah, it's a script. And with the Tavistock plan modified to suit American conditions, Bernays and Lippmann led President Woodrow Wilson to set up the very first Tavistock mythology techniques for polling, aka manufacturing so-called public opinion, created by what? Tavistock propaganda. And they also taught Wilson to set up a secret body of managers to run the war effort and a body of advisors to assist the president in his decision-making. The Creel Commission was the first such body of opinion makers set up in the United States. Research what I'm saying when I tell people, either our people are not right, they plan, or clearly they don't know. It's nothing new under the sun. This is all I'm saying. What? Think about it. Just if you have a small, if your cup full a little bit, think about what I'm saying. Woodrow Wilson was the first American president to publicly proclaim himself in favor of a socialist New World Order inside a socialist one world government. And this remarkable acceptance of the New World Order is found in his book, The New Freedom. It's in his book. Write it down. Yep. Yeah. It's in the book by Woodrow Wilson, The New Freedom. And we say that his book, but actually it was written by socialist William B. Hale. Wilson denounced capitalism. It is contrary to the common man and has brought stagnation, I got you, to our economy, Wilson wrote. Yet at the time, the United States economy was enjoying prosperity and industrial expansion as it had never experienced before its history. So we all know that precedent in history. Lying by diplomacy. Diplomacy has no other mission. Every time a state wants to declare war upon another state, it starts off by launching a manifesto addressed not only to its own subjects, but also to the whole world. In the manifesto, it declares that the right and justice are on its side and endeavors to prove that it is actuated by love of peace and humanity and democracy, and that imbued with generous and peaceful sentiments is offered for a long time in silence until mounting inequity of its enemies force it to bear its sword. You hear that? Oh, man. He was lying by diplomacy. And he used the gross propaganda manufactured by Wilmington House to inflame the American public by tales of atrocities committed by the German army in its march across Belgium in 1914. So this is what I'm saying, a precedent. Think about what's happening. And so then when you can cross-reference the writings, even as the author says, and when you know how to look up periodicals, it's not hard. It's even simpler today. But I remember looking through a large stack of old newspapers at the British Museum, where I spent 5 years doing in-depth research, and the papers covered the years from 1912 to 1920. And I can recall thinking at the time, isn't it amazing that the rush to the New World Order, socialist, totalitarian government should be led by the United States, supposedly a bastion of freedom? Then you can recall it came to me with great clarity that the Committee of 300 has its people at the highest and lowest echelons embedded in the U.S., in the banking industry, the trade defense, the State Department, and indeed in the White House, not to mention the elite club called the U.S. Senate, which the author feels that it was the form to push the New World Order. So think about what the writer says he can recall thinking that President Wilson's propaganda blast against Germany and the Kaiser actually the product of Rothschild agent Lords Northcliffe and Rothermere and the Wilmington House propaganda factory was not much different to the contrived situation of Pearl Harbor, the Gulf of Tonkin incident, and looking back now, I can see no difference between the propaganda lies about the brutality of German soldiers allegedly chopping off the limbs of the little kids, and that's what they were saying in 1914, than the method used to get the American people duped into allowing the Bush administration to invade Iraq. This is from the writings, but hey, you can do your research. Whereas in 1914, it was the Kaiser who was a brute, the one that was doing wrong, ruthless, a monster. So Even in 1917, the New World Order agenda was being rushed through the House and the Senate by Woodrow Wilson, and President Bush forced the New World Order agenda for Iraq through the House and the Senate in 2002 with debate and exercise and arbitrary power, and a gross violation of U.S. Constitution of which the American people are paying a huge price. Listen to the precedent and look at what's happening now when people act like they don't want to understand what's going on. But the American people are suffering from toxic shock induced by Tavistock institution of human relations, and the American people are in a state of sleepwalking and without leadership. Listen what I'm saying. They do not know what the price is and do not care to find out what's going on. When everybody be talking about this color thing, it ain't, man, we way past that. We should be way past that. The Committee of 300 continues to rule the United States, just as it did in the Wilson and Roosevelt presidencies, while the American people were distracted with bread and circus, only to its baseball, football, endless Hollywood, and Social Security, and nothing changed today. Look at when I say it's nothing changed. Look, and look what we make popular on social media. Look. uh, uh, Watch this, y'all. I just set a precedent. I'm gonna get to a chapter for we can roll out here because we can go on and on. But I'll get with a little bit of chapter 1, founding the world's premier brainwashing institution. Then this what I be telling my brothers and sisters. It's nothing new under the sun. I don't care how passionate no one is. I don't care about no one group. If anybody, especially when it comes down to law, if anybody say this and that and this, all you got to do is tell them to give you the precedent in law case, give you the doc number, or nothing. Just tell them give them your government name, and you can look it up yourself. Because this is a thing called the Free Information Act, and I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna find is nothing. I guarantee you, what people are going to start saying is the same talk, the same barbershop talk. Or I heard, or they had to sign a do not disclose. It's going to be a whole bunch of heard. It's going to be nothing valid. I promise you. You know, and you have every right to ask. You know, the stuff be outlandish, but from its modest, but vitally important beginning at Wilmington House, the Tavistock Institution for Human Relations expanded rapidly to become the world's premier top-secret brainwashing institution. How this rapid progression was accomplished needs to be explained. So the modern science, okay, let me reverse. Now y'all heard when I talk about science and things and these certain individuals and things, and when I talk about healing and you hear I keep talking about sciences, right? And science, when I tell people the common man is so many years behind, you know? You know? Hold on. Hold on. But yeah, I'm sorry. I had to see something. But you have to see that in science because a lot of things when we talk about, like especially like here, I'm on this other like TikTok platform. It always be tripping. That's why I always tell people to come on my YouTube channel, you know. But these things is there for you to know what's happening and how to navigate together and how the people can come together and make a change and the nation in the nation the right way, you know. You know, this is what this is about. When I can show you things, what was going on, really in civic history, to see how the world is shaped, and be like, oh my God, see where these people were happening, doing these certain decision was made. Remember, I told y'all Berniers was born in Vienna on November 22nd, 1891, as the nephew of Sigmund Freud. Freud. He was the nephew, and Sigmund Freud was regarded as the father of public relations, although the title properly belongs to, they say, Willy Munzenberg. You know, Bernays pioneered the use of psychology and other social sciences to shape and form public opinion. So the public thought such manufactured opinions were their own. You see? And if we understand the mechanisms and motives of the group mind, it is now possible to control and regiment the masses according to our will without anyone knowing. And Bernays postulated, he called this technique engineering consent. One of his best known techniques of achieving this goal was the indirect use of what he called the third party authorities to shape the desired opinions. And if you can influence the leaders, either with or without their conscious cooperation, you automatically influence the group, which they sway. And this technique he called opinion making. You see? You see what I'm saying? It's just like a lot of times, like we can talk about certain individuals, the standards be so high for them. And then when we look at individuals, the standards be low for them. And certain individuals they use this stuff to become rich and for power. And we use it against each other. And I say that's the problem. We shouldn't be using no wisdom or power against each other. People should be coming to the storehouse. People should be coming together. This is what the science I teach. It's like a Batman syndrome. It's like this is a unity. And perhaps we can now begin to understand how it was that Wilson, Roosevelt, Clinton, Bush, and the elder and the younger could so easily lead America into certain things, which some of the people say shouldn't have happened, So I want people to see things when I say it's nothing new under the sun. One of the main objectives at Tavistock was to achieve the degradation, the degradation of, our women or women per se. Tavistock recognized that so-called Jesus Christ has brought a new place of respect in the order of civilization to womanhood, which prior to his coming had not been present. And after Christ's ministry, womanhood gained a respect and a high place in society, absent from pre-Christian civilization. And of course, it can be argued that such an elevated status existed in the Greek and the Roman empires, and that would be true to a certain extent, but not to the extent that womanhood was elevated in post-Christ society. Remember, Tavistock sought to change that, and the process began immediately after World War I, and the Eastern Orthodox Church, which the Rus, aka the Vikings, princess of Moscow, brought back from Constantinople, when you start researching history, revered and respected womanhood and their experience with the Khazarians, whom they subsequently defeated and drove out of Russia, left them determined to protect womanhood in Russia. It's documented. And the founder of the Romanov dynasty, Michael Romanov, was the scion of a noble family that had defended Russia on the basis of a Christian country. And from 1613, the Romanovs sought to ennoble Russia and imbue it with a great spirit of Christianity, which meant also protection for and the honoring of Russian womanhood. You see? It's a lot more. The princes of Moscow, under Prince Dmitry Donskoy, earned the unremitting hatred of the Rothschilds for Russia became of Donsko's defeat and explosion of the Khazarians, the hordes that inhabited the lower region of the Volga. This barbaric warrior nation of mysterious Indo-Turk origin had adopted the Judaic religion on passage of a decree by King Bulat after the religion was approved by the chief Khazarian soothsayer, magician, sorcerer, David L. Roy. It was L. Roy's personal flag, now called the Star of David. That's where it come from. That became the official flag of the Khazarian nation when they settled in Poland after being forced out of Russia. Ask them, with all due respect. The flag was adopted by the Zionists as their standard and is still mistakenly called the Star of David, with all due respect. Christians make the error of confusion linking it with the Old Testament King David, when in fact there is no relation between the two. And the hatred of Russia was compounded in 1612 when the Romanov dynasty led a Russian army against Poland, taking back large parts of Poland that had formerly belonged to Russia. And the principal architect of enmity brought to bear against Russia was the Rothschild dynasty, and it was the burning hatred that the Tavistock used and channeled in its plan to destroy Western civilization. I hope you're listening to your brother. And the first opportunity created by Tavistock came in 1905 with the attack by Japanese Navy that completely surprised the Russian fleet. And the exercise was bankrolled by Jacob Schiff, the Wall Street banker, who was related to the Rothschilds. History, you can see how history be connected when I say it's nothing new under the sun. It's nothing new under the sun. People just not connected. And I'm just giving a small tittle. I'm just sharing, giving you a little light to say, okay, some stuff you shouldn't worry about, especially if you connect it to something that's real. When you connect it to something that's real, it means something in life. And the defeat of the Russian fleet at Port Arthur in a surprise attack marked the beginning of the pall of gloom that was about to roll in over Christian Europe. And Rockefeller Standard Oil Group, directed by Tavistock, and with the aid of the 300 engineered the Russo-Japanese War. And the money used to finance the operation came from Jacob Schiff, but was actually provided by the Rockefeller General Education Board, whose outward purpose was to finance, with all due respect, this is just the history, Negro education. With all due respect. With all due respect, we should be able to teach history instead of just showing us in the worst ways. All of the propaganda and advertising for the board was written and crafted by social scientists at Tavistock, which was then called Wilmington House. So when you look up Wilmington House, when I'm speaking about things, I tell people it's nothing new under the sun. So if our people are promulgating these things, with all due respect, these brothers and sisters that may took an oath, XYZ, you can look at them in the eye and say, man, that's a shame, and move away. Because I'm telling you, it's nothing new under the sun. Think about what I'm saying. In 1941, another Rockefeller front organization, the Institution for Pacific Relations, the acronym, you may have seen it, IPR, gave large sums to its Japanese counterpart in Tokyo. And the money was then funneled to a member of its imperial family by Richard Sorge, a Russian, agent per se. And all this stuff is history. When you start looking at things, you'll be like, man, this is a joke, with all due respect. Why? Because you can't get mad at me. Why? Because this is older than me. And he was a master, agent for the purpose of inducing Japan to attack the United States at Pearl Harbor. You can research this stuff. I'm always transparent with people. I'm part of the Philosophical Research Society. I can go deeper with wisdom. Why? Because it's just world history. How can I make something up? It's world history. It's even more. I can show you what people don't know, what a lot of scholars and dignitaries that know how the world was set up and who really discovered America, per se. When I say discovered, Tavistock was the originator of all of IPR's publications, although it was not yet evident as Spengler was to mention in his monumental work published in 1936. It marked the beginning of the end of the old order. Contrary to most established accounts of history, the Russian Revolution was not a Russian Revolution at all, but a foreign, what'd he say? Oh, no, I'm good, bro. But a foreign ideology backed primarily by the Committee of 300 and its arms, and a Tavistock institution that was violently forced upon a startled, unprepared, and dismayed Ronoval family. You see? A lot of this stuff, when you look at history, it was political wars, low-grade warfare, psychological warfare, in which Tavistock had became well skilled. Brothers and sisters, even as Winston Churchill, when people be thinking people be heroes, and I say, well, look what these so-called figures did in real history. But as Winston Churchill was to remark, they transported Lenin in a sealed truck like a plague, bacillus, from Switzerland into Russia. And then once established, Lenin and Trotsky seized Russia by the hair of his head. And much has been written, but nearly always in passing of it. It is a mere postscript to history about the sealed truck, the sealed car, the sealed train that transported Lenin and his Bolshevik revolutionaries safely through the midst of the war-torn Europe and deposited them in Russia, and there to begin their imported Bolshevik revolution, so mistakenly termed the Russian Revolution. See, this is real civics documents the author was privileged to study at Wimbledon House, and what was revealed in the Arnold Toynbee papers and Bruce Lockhart's private papers led to the conclusion that without Toynbee, Bruce Lockhart of M16 British intelligence, and without the complicity of at least 5 European nations, ostensibly loyal and friendly with the court at St. Petersburg, the merciless Bolshevik revolution would have been stillborn. And this account must of necessity be limited to Tavistock participation in the affair, and it will not be a complete account of the skullduggery we would like to have presented. According to Milner, his aides through Tavistock contacted a fellow socialist, Fritz Platten. Milner was a leading Fabian socialist, although he scorned Sidney and Beatrice Webb. It was Platten who planned the logistics of the trip and oversaw it until the revolutionaries arrived in Petrograd. You see? You see this real history? And this was confirmed and borne out by the Wilmistress files, the majority of which we are able to gain access to, because a lot of stuff we're talking about here is public information. You just have to know how to find it. A lot of stuff is in the Library of Congress. A lot of stuff has doc numbers like ISBNs. It's not hard to find if you're a scholar and an educator. But anyway, which files were open to certain people qualified to read them. They tailed fairly closely with Bruce Lockhart's account in his private papers, as well as what Lord Alfred Milner had to say about the underhand affair that betrayed Russia. It appeared that Milner had many contacts among the Bolshevik expatriates. Among them, Lenin. It was Lord Milner that Lenin went, and when he needed money for the revolution, armed with a letter of introduction from Platten, Lenin met with Lord Miller and laid down his plan for the overthrow of the Romanov and the Christian Russia. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing what's going on? With all due respect, are you seeing what's going on? I hope people seeing what's going on. Will you be like, wait a minute, because I'm saying something, but I don't want to say it. I'll put it like this: it's a book, The Chosen Ones, with Mordecai, and all them, and you see them, the more Zion's temple of the Jews, and when you look at the picture, when you blow it up, you can see the American flag in the back with the so-called Israel flag that they adopted. And remember, Israel wasn't created to a state, country, whatever you want to call it, until like what, like the 40s. So I hope you just caught to something I just said. I said Israel wasn't created a state until then. I said all that to say one word. I said all that to say one word. I hope y'all picked up on the one word I just said. I hope you catching, because I don't want them to strike me. So I got to talk all around the circles for if your ear open, you caught. That's that one word and all that what I said. But Lord Rothschild and the Rockefellers demanded that they be allowed to send Sidney Reilly to Russia to supervise transfer of Russia's natural resource and the gold rubles held in the central bank to London. And this was agreed by Lenin and later Trotsky. So when you see the whole play, when you see, you be thinking it's two different sides. It's not. They just have to be played out. To seal the bargain, Lord Milner. It's like quid pro quo. It's like when you go in the courts and before something happens, you in the chambers, you already know what's going to happen, but it plays out. To seal the bargain, Lord Milner, on behalf of the Rothschilds, gave Lenin 60 million pounds in gold sovereigns, while the Rockefellers contributed around $40 million. See, real talk. Countries in complicity with the sealed train affair were Great Britain, Germany, Finland, Switzerland, Sweden. While the United States was not directly involved, it was aware of what was going on. Now think about what I just said. And I can share a book with y'all about a U.S. general that I had the pleasure to deal with, and he wrote a book. I'm going to share it with y'all, before I end, if I don't forget, because I'm old. And after all, on the order of the President Wilson, a brand new American passport was issued to Leon Trotsky, whose real name was Levi Bronstein, so that he could travel in peace, although Trotsky was not a U.S. citizen. I hope y'all catching what I'm saying. Lenin and his compatriots were provided with a private, well-appointed rail carriage by the top German government, And so all this stuff is going on right under our eyes. So I'm just setting the precedent because I want you to have, you need to get this wisdom for yourself. You need it. Remember I told you about Europe after World War I? How long I got? Okay, I got a little more time. And the close of the Bolshevik Revolution was forced to change according to Tavistock blueprint, when thanks to the British endangered and instigated the First World War. So when you look at all this stuff, what's going on, man, that's what I be telling people. I said, civics, you have no idea of what's going on. And even when on the lower level, what you be seeing these Moors doing, I said, they have no idea what's going on. No idea. It's the same thing. But listen, watch this. The war was started by Great Britain out of sheer hatred of Germany's rapid progress toward becoming a major economic power in competition against Britain. And Lord Edward Grey was the principal architect of the war. Man, I just want brothers and sisters to really, really, really understand what's going on. To really, really get an idea. It's so much. So I'm almost at my hour time because I don't want to stay too far in it. But when I tell people, you have to be able to get the wisdom and hold it and touch it and investigate it for yourself so you can really, really see what's going on and understand for yourself, because there's nothing new under the sun. It's nothing new under the sun, and it's the Tavistock Institution of Human Relations, shaping the moral, the spiritual, and the cultural and economic decline of the United States of America by John Coleman, you know? And I'm telling you, John Coleman lectured at the colleges and everything, you know? What's another dude name? What's my man name? I can't even find it. It's another piece. Before I go, I can't even remember the brother name. As we close, I want to give y'all a little something. What is his name? I can't even think about it. Let me see. Let me see if it pop up. I can't even remember. I can't even think of it. But yeah, family. Please stay in tune. Please stay safe. You know, because there's so much going on, especially with, you know, all this stuff on social media. When everybody say they have the keys to do this and to you can get this and you can get that. I always tell people before you make those moves, man, you should really sit down and have a think tank with brothers. You know, so Peace Bayfall, Pete Davis, Joshua, Sharon Pole Cook, Caps, my cousin Jaquan, all the Empresses Lily, everyone on here, man, but all my brothers, you know. Who else? Comedic Adapt, Hero Fat, all these brothers and sisters with their titles and XYZ. Man, if we professing things, and even with our empresses on here, man, it can't be two different sciences. It just can't be. It just can't be. You know, and what really shows me the disrespect among my brothers and sisters when I talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. When I talk about you have the right of a nationality and the right to change it, and the claim a child replaces the birth certificate, and no one will be arbitrarily denied of a nationality and the right to change it. We can't be going out here telling everybody that they're this or they're not that, and you don't even know, Peace Bayfall, and you don't even know their family background. And it's individuals like myself and others that know their background, their family crest, and their coat of arms. So, and try to make the world that small, like that's asinine. Or try to tell people that this is who everyone is. So if that's the case, I know people, families is from Britain, is from Russia. They're not from no Africa per se. I know people, families like my family from Florida, always lived in Florida from the 1800s. So when I speak about things, when I talk about historical things, brothers and sisters, they need to come to the round table, especially these brothers and sisters that profess that they this and they have the power to anoint someone from this to that. And I always ask my people, why? Why don't you want to be who you are? Why don't you don't understand your family history? You don't understand that your last name is your family crest and your coat of arms. So why should we let anybody tell us who we are and who we not? Now, as a people, when it comes down to reparations and anything, when it comes down to American, we are the copper colored races. Found here. Where? Found here in America. They say found, but you can't find none that's already native to the land. So what are we talking about? If you say this is your land and this is all this stuff and all that stuff, well, how is it your land? And you say you're not a Moorish American, you're a Moroccan. Well, then that means you on foreign land, per se. If you're here in America, and I mean you should have dual citizenship. You should have history of your parents and everybody, your grandmama, them coming over here from Morocco. And it's just like other individuals that I know that's come from other places, from Bosnia and from all these other places, you know? and from the DR and from Haiti and all these people. But it don't be none of this. It be people that right up here in America talk about they not an American, and people lose their lives to get here. I say that's idiotic. But you not American. Well, but I am. Our prophet said he a Morgan American. He said the reason why we Moorish American, we got Moroccan descent, aka African descent. African descent, North Morocco, South, East, West. I mean, what are we talking about? You know your appellation, not no one on social media to put everybody in the box. Because if we're going off biblical scriptures or Quranic scriptures or anything, it was more than one group of people. When I be telling my Hebrew Israelite brothers, I said you had the Israelites, the Amalekites, the Amalekites, the Levites. I mean, what are we talking about? All different tribes, all different families. What are we talking about? So when brothers and sisters get a little piece of wisdom, it remind me of Living Color. What? When he was locked up, and then you got all these people that's adults, and they get caught up in the web, and then they all act like they don't know what's going on, and you can't plead yourself to the court. Why? Because there's no excuse of not knowing the law in a court of law. I tell these people this every time. I tell adults this. I tell empresses this. I said, if we're not gonna come to a round table and everybody come together with the information and prove things and hold fast to what is good. And if you're saying you done went to court and you done did this, you done solved that, give me the precedent in law case. Give me the doc number. You ain't got to say nothing else to me. And we can look it up and I can tell you everything what these people talk about is straight up Fuji dust. And that's what I'm saying. And I'm telling y'all that's wrong. Because if these was the other people, if these was European Albion Tralodite, with all disrespect, this stuff would be shut down ASAP. It'd be shut down ASAP. I'm telling you. And all I'm saying, if you letting people telling you do this, it's not real. This is a Jedi mind trick. And we've been falling for this for so long. I tell everybody, research Roger Elvick, and people still be lazy and don't understand. I say, it's the thing when you dealing criminal stuff, it's the language. I don't care if your language is this or that. If it's the same thing, when we interpret it, you're doing the same thing. And so the sovereign citizen, the so-called foreign militia, whatever, is going to be locked up next who? To the European dude that talk about he trying to overthrow the government. You're going to be locked up together. Why? Because I see it all day. And when you say you're going to expatriate from this de facto government, then you tell me who do you have affiliates with. You will be a domestic terrorist, foreign and abroad. Don't tell me you got affiliates with this so-called religion you just joined, because that ain't no government body. You just played yourself. I'm telling you what I know. And you can't explain, and you cannot explain what I'm saying no different than damn, I didn't know. And whoever promulgating that, if you know, you should be like, shut it down now. But if you didn't know, you can be like, I'm sincerely wrong. And that's why people shouldn't jump and show both hands. Why? Because no matter how you saying it, if it's this language or this language, if both languages are demonstrating the same thing, it's doing the same actions. I don't care if you speak in Chinese or Mandarin. Are you understanding what I'm telling my brothers and sisters? This is what I'm telling y'all. I said, this is nothing what no God man done. This is what nobody done from the temple, because no one can nationalize you and denationalize you. It'll change you from the descendant natures of your foremothers and your forefathers. If any of these individuals can nationalize you, tell them to nationalize a Sudanese, a Chinese, a Vietnamese. They can't. They have no power. Only thing these people can do is make you a part of their group. Or if they some Masons as well, they can make you a Mason. Nothing else. And see, and these is facts, and these is keys. And everybody with a real heart know I'm telling you the truth. We have a proclamation and a declaration. Everybody know I'm telling the truth. That's why I said if we didn't, if not, then it's propaganda. That's why I can't be two different truths. That's why I be telling my empresses, I said, y'all, stop this madness. And a lot of brothers, they need to stop this madness as well. All that will happen is you will lead people into a burning house, and people will be caught up getting the court reporter attorneys pleading to lesser charges, and everyone that tell you how to do this stuff, they draw up like Fuji dust. Why? Because they're giving you fictitious names. That's what I'm saying. And everyone know it. So I always tell people, don't do these things that you're not sure of, and when it come down, you have to go get a court-appointed attorney and plead to a lesser charge because you done watched some video. You done heard somebody tell you to cancel corporate debt, and this is your land, and drive without license and not pay your bills and all that. I'm telling you, that is not more science. And I always tell people it's everything gonna turn out bad. It's nothing that no one can tell me that because you are more, you can get this and sign for this and adverse this. I'm telling you, it all come out bad. Why? Because if you go with anything as a willing obligor, it's a contract in front of your face, right? Yep. Did you read the contract? Nope. So you can't say you was under duress. That's a lie. No one is under duress. When I be telling people, so you're just gonna lie. So you don't have to go in things if you don't want to sign a contract. This is what I be telling people. I said, dude, so you just want to go in things and then don't want to pay. Like that's what we doing. Don't participate in none of the things. Everything you doing, buy it outright. You see, why do we want to? If we not involved in it, don't even get in the game of those things. But when it comes to doing things the right way, and you got all these different brothers that you can find on social media saying that they have the power, like He-Man and stuff, to make you this. And everybody's telling you to join a citizenship and this, and you can be this type of Indian and that type of Indian and join this. And then the other people got the same thing. What they tell you about what's going on, brothers and sisters? Really, really, really think about it. Really think about it. That means, if you think about it, if all these individuals doing this, that means then none of it really makes sense. You might as well do your own thing. And then how can somebody say yours is not valid as theirs? You see the hypocrisy in that? When somebody can say yours is not as valid as theirs. Why? They made theirs up too. You can make yours up too. I can show you where you can get a seal. I can make the ID for you. It ain't nothing. You want some paperwork to saying this, and that, and the other, done deal. Because it ain't, yours is just as valid as anybody else's. Yours is just as valid as anybody else for some RV Bay publishing or somebody you met on social media. Because where you think they paperwork going? Do you think that paperwork going in somewhere that's going to be recognized by the nations and armies and nothing? No, it's going in their personal safe. It ain't going nowhere. I'm telling you what I know. All them certificates is meaningless. It ain't being registered nowhere, nothing like that. Only thing you can register is your religious order. And people are not telling y'all the truth. You giving them your information and your kid and your social security number. Where do you think it's going? Where do you think it's going? You think it's going to some world course, to some national registry? What national registry do you think these people connected to where your information going? Where do you think it's going? When I ask all my people, when you meet people on social media and you give them your information and they profess this and they're going to do it, where do you think your information is going? And your dollars, where do you think it's going? To do what? What services, where is it going to get these services done? And where is it valid at? I be waiting for what people be thinking they're going to get with all these characters that's saying the same thing. I'm like, dude, you still not going to get nothing. You still going to be going to work. You still going to realize when you pay for this, you got to pay for this. You got to pay for this. This stuff is old, y'all. That's why they can't come to me, man. I'll show y'all some stuff, old writings like The Influencer. I'll show y'all all this Jedi mind trick. I'll show y'all how Europeans been doing this forever. And this stuff like this been going on forever. This ain't nothing but Roger Elvick stuff. I'm telling y'all, that redemption stuff is all the same. This is that Roger Elvick stuff. And it's so much stuff. It's a plethora of things that fall under that umbrella of that Roger Elvick redemption stuff. The foreign militia, overthrow the government, all that stuff that these people doing falls under that Roger Elvick. And all you got to do is just research what I'm saying. Once you take a small second to be like, let me research this, you should pause. Everything that you be seeing these people telling you about, you should pause. Why? Because I'm telling y'all what I know. What? The internet task force is on these people ASS. If they play the game, I'll start showing you they all on here. Why? Because they on the internet telling you how to break the law. That's why. I'm telling y'all, all these people is meaningless. When they go to court, they're not going to be called those fictitious names. They're going to be called by the name their mama gave them with their last name. I'm telling you what I know. All this fictitious names and the sultan of this, that's cap. When all the other people get in trouble and they, just like, y'all, let's see what's going on. A lot of people gonna have to start telling the truth because a lot of them going to jail simultaneously. You're gonna see a lot of these people, this is not their names, and you're gonna see those aliases on these paperwork and these people that's getting caught with this paperwork, they're gonna have to tell. And a lot of people don't be knowing these people real names, so they follow on social media. And so the local task force get there, you know what? How? Because it's easy. You pinging off a tower. I be trying to tell people they be thinking they incognito on social media with this fictitious stuff and having these people break the law willingly through the mail and all that. That's a federal case as well. And I'm like, okay. And so I show you what these people real names be. These people be having fictitious names and PO boxes. That's why they be able to skate through it a little bit. And they don't really care about this type of people. It takes other things to get that caught up in that, and then the domino effects happen. Like it's happening with others right now that said they were going to do things and hustle for millions. It's happening right now. That's why I say everything take time. If you was in the streets, they call things PFI. They'll let you be out here for long enough. Like I tell people, everything is tapped, everything is wired, everybody on the watch list. What you mean? I ain't on no watch list. Yeah, okay. You on social media, you or more, you got to pay, you on the watch list. You don't think that? You a fool. You on social media saying anything about this, you got to be one of the goofiest people in the world. I'm telling you, because you are on the watch list, everything is being listened to. So if you don't think that, I'm telling you, stupid. And you pinging off a tower. So when I be telling people real things, I'm like, dude, you know what I'm saying is the truth. You know that you're not no lawgiver. You know that if somebody really get in trouble and they go to court, you're not going to be there to defend them in a court of law. And then these people don't have no bail money or this, and they're going to have to get a court-appointed attorney and plead to a lesser charge. You know it, and I know it. How? These people can't defend themselves. I'm telling you, you know it, and I know it. I see the horror stories all day. And that's how people get caught up. And then people won't tell the truth. I'm like, dude, man, this stuff is cap. All that, though, your birth certificate is attached to millions. Ain't nobody got no millions. If anybody got some millions, show me the doc number. The first thing they're going to do, they're going to come up with a lie. Talk about they had to sign a do not disclose. Everybody going to lie. And I'll be like, see, I told you. I know the cap. Ain't nobody did nothing and they said. Because no God man run to these courts. Because what? Going to their courts to prove what? And this stuff has already been done. You got to proclaim, declare, and have due process. And people don't understand what they doing. They think they got to expatriate and go somewhere. They feel that they're not Americans. They don't understand what's already done because you're coming up with your own thing. And so if that's the case, if you're coming up with your own thing, you can't say nobody else. You can't say yours is better than somebody else's. You can't do it. Why? Because everyone doing the exact same thing. I don't have enough fingers and toes. I can go on social media and see these dudes are nationalized, and I'm sending out people paperwork, and they doing status corrections. Then you see the Moroccan generals and all these people, and they the Moroccan this, and then the U.S. AR dudes, and they say they this, and they talk about these people, they citizen, they knew this. Then you got these other people, and then I remember years ago, you had my man them in China. They used to be arguing with my man them, the Ride of the Moors, because they was all working together, and then two of the dudes moved to China, and they was making ID cards. Then they was making plates. I said, this stuff is old. And then you got people talking about they some Moroccan generals here in the States and some Moroccan governor. And I'm like, dude, that's crazy. You don't even have no dual citizenship to even say you some Moroccan. Okay, if you're Moroccan, where's your dual citizenship? Because you're not just no Moroccan. If you're a Moroccan, then your mama a Moroccan too. So your mom, where your dual citizenship? To Morocco, from Morocco. You should have dual citizenship. Just like my Bosnian American friends, they have dual citizenship. If you are Moroccan and you here in America, which people say they from Moroccans, you should have dual citizenship. If not, you an alien. You need to be in the FEMA camp, just like everybody else. If you're not an American, if you're a Moroccan and you don't have dual citizenship, if I be telling people, I'd be like, man, stop the cap. You got a birth certificate just like everybody you talking about. You got a birth certificate, your mama got a birth certificate, your dad got a birth certificate. Everybody be out here with that cap. I'll be like, dude, that's crazy. You talk to these people, mamas and stuff, they'll be like, yeah, he was born at such hospital. And when he passed, his funeral gonna be at such Baptist church. Real talk, man. That's why I be telling people, I'm like, dude, we gotta stop this, man. Most people ain't done what a lot of us have done from the temple. Most of these people ain't never been to the temple to even disrespect the temple. And it's a lot of shiggity going on because the shiggity is the people. The building can't do nothing. It's just like alcohol, blaming the alcohol on it. The alcohol ain't doing nothing. The alcohol ain't nothing. It's your desires. The alcohol in a bottle. Just like when they say money the root to all evil. Money ain't no root to all evil. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19, wine is made for laughter, but money trumps all. Alcohol ain't nothing. So when people be coming up with these outlandish things, I'd be like, dude, it's not valid. And I'm gonna stand on what I'm saying. Everybody be doing things with criminal stuff. At one point, everybody talk about black laws, and I said, dude, black laws are just terms. It's not precedent in law cases. It's not doc number. It's not Free Information Act. Those are definition terms. Man, you got black laws 1 all the way to black laws 10. And this is what I tell people. I said, we have to get out of this fake stuff and be honest. Nobody, all this stuff is, no one never got nothing. For you to file some paper and say you some Amish or say this, no one achieved nothing. You're not making no money off these things. These people make money. This is a pyramid scheme and a Ponzi scheme. And these people not as smart as Bernie Madoff. Somebody have to talk to our people with some reality and with some sense. How somebody that went to say you from Memphis, and y'all got a local school, and say how this person you went to high school with that didn't graduate out of high school, that was in retired classes, all of a sudden they call themselves suiting this, and that, and the other, or president this, and that, and the other, all of a sudden. Just because they started watching some videos and bought a fez and can wear some garments and can quote some stuff that's truth and falsehood strangely mixed and get everybody caught up like that's heavy. And in the comments, everybody want to do that. And so then you're admitting that you want to what? Learn how to be a criminal with your dumb self. And that's how these people be getting subpoenaed. And I be trying to tell these people, I said, dude, it don't matter. Internet, streets, phone, it's the same thing. You make it easier on the internet when you in somebody's inbox. Oh, I need that. Okay, well, send me your number. Now you sent their number. Now they soliciting to you their criminal ways. Now you caught up in a RICO with your retarded self. And I be telling people this how easy it is. You think these people out here not already been in trouble? All you got to do is find a real name and see what their cases are, see what they've been locked up for on the retarded stuff, and you will see why they able to keep doing what they doing. I'm telling you, real facts. Most of the people don't know these people names. Think about what I'm saying, y'all, with this propaganda. This is what I'm telling y'all. This is propaganda. This is Moorish propaganda. And I'm a sheik through the Moorish Science Temple, and I have my temple in school, and I'm educated, anointed, and consecrated. I'm telling you, this is Moorish propaganda that these people doing, and it's some Roger Elvick bullcrap. This is not Moorish science. This is not Moorish science. And if anybody want how the temple is set up, I'll give you the state booklet. If you want the letter from the CCRD, the County Clerk Recorder of Deeds, telling these people, Sheik Lovell and Sheik is Lovell, that the 1099 ain't no stupid trust fund at the end of the rainbow. It's a religious affidavit. I'll give you that too. These people is straight up lying to y'all. And that AA22 number, all that was, really, it was like a affidavit, like a doc number you can find in the Library of Congress. And people was not paying taxes, using that to not pay taxes, but try to do it again. I know people got locked up doing this stuff because people was finding loopholes. And when I say a loophole, you taking something, I won't even say a loophole, but you taking something portraying that this, and when it come down, say if it's time for you to prove what you're doing, and you go to courts and you not really representing that in its right manifestation, or say you're not part of something, and you say, yes, I am, and then they call a person and subpoena a person that's running an organization, or this, that, and the other, or that membership, or part of that temple, or organization, or that masonry, and they get subpoenaed, and they say, is such and such a part of this, and they say, no, for the record, no, you just lied. And this, what I'm saying, when people say noble dry lead is more science, I be like, no, that's not, y'all. When people say, well, this would no, that's not, dog. They say noble dry lead for they can pull their little wool over your eyes. And when they say noble dry lead and more science, you may think these are some of the activities that's been done, but it's not. I'm telling you, it's not. We have a proclamation declaration. We don't talk about overthrowing no government, and if people don't want to obey to these laws, they return to the state where I, the prophet, found them. You return your car, your fez, and your turban. We ain't here to overthrow no government. We from love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So when people be coming with these things, it's not more science. It's their own hateful ways. It's their foreign militia stuff that they doing. It's that Roger Elvick militia group. That's what they're doing. That paradigm group, that's what they're doing. But that's not more science. Because why? We don't hate America. I definitely don't. And none of my people don't. This is the land of the free, the home of the brave. This is the only place you have religious rights. So when these individuals that's on here professing, saying that they Moroccans and they went to school, high school, elementary, all here, their girlfriends on welfare. If you're not American, why are you still here? What are you promoting? Why are you so mad? If not, just renounce your citizenship and go. And when you do that, you know you ain't no Moroccan. You know, as soon as you expatriate from this de facto government, you're going to be a domestic terrorist, foreign and abroad, because you don't have no affiliates and nowhere else. And that's what I'm telling you. And everybody know that's the truth. And if you don't understand that, it's something wrong. If these people are Moroccans, then they should have dual citizenship. If they don't like America, well, what they here for? This is what I'm telling you. They done been here all their life. And then they study something, and all of a sudden you wanna renounce your Americanness. You wanna announce that. So if that's the case, why don't you expatriate like all these people be saying? Like people be saying, why don't you just expatriate from this de facto government and then become stateless? Why don't you just do that? And then when you do that, tell me, who do you have affiliates with? When the people tell you to do that, who? When you renounce your citizenship, when you expatriate, who do you have citizenship with? How? Because you just can't make up your own citizenship and say, oh, I'm a citizen of Morocco without them accepting you. And that's how the folly come in. When you get these people with these fake certificates they got from the Christian store off Amazon, and they got they seal from Office Max and Staple, and you say you done joined somebody's citizenship, and I done told you, only thing you done joined is somebody's goddamn religion. You done played yourself. You done became a domestic terrorist, foreign and abroad. They can't say nothing else about what I'm saying. I don't care what they got in front of their name. I'm telling you right now, and you playing with fire. You got to understand what I'm saying. This is so crystal clear to anybody that's on here. I'm giving you a divine message and a warning as I speak, as I close. I'm giving people a divine warning and a message right like I close. If people want to learn, I've been telling them what to do. I've been teaching this for so ever. I'm part of the Moorish Zion Temple of America. I have a school. It's only one way. It's only one way. It ain't no other ways. If listen what I'm saying clearly. If Noble Drew Ali set up the Moorish Zion Temple of America, and the Moorish Zion Temple of America, we have a ID, a travel ID, and a tax ID card. That's from the Moorish Zion Temple of America. That's it. If we got our, every time I show people my DAT paper, that's through the Moorish Zion Temple of America. It's only one. So if that's the case, if it don't come from the temple, which Noble Drew Ali set up at a theocratic way, and if they going by that, then it's something what somebody else made. So when people be saying the right way, I'll be like, the right way to do what? This is what I ask people. And I be like, because when people say the right way to do, the only way for me to answer is the way I teach in real life. And I say the right way to do what? Because when people say things, then I can correct language. It's always about the language and the linguistics that we profess out our mouth to hangman ourselves in any situation or in these four corners. So when a person say the right way to do what, I know what a person's saying, but I want them to say it for I can correct the teachings and I can correct the language. Remember, it's the language that's going to hang man and put everybody in the same category. Remember this. So when a person say the right way to do what? I want to hear what everybody's saying because I know, but I need to hear it. The right way to do what? The right way to do what, Noble? Watch this, how easy this is. Like this stuff, this elementary, this like when you in elementary and you get the little timetable sheet and a mathematics sheet. This elementary, this is a schoolmaster. I tell people it's only one way to do it. It ain't no other way to do things. Can't nobody do this for you because the right way to claim I knew it. Or you talk about or a status correction. That's what you're saying? And you ain't correct. Now remember, words is navigation. Remember, it's only one more Zion Temple of America. Now I'm giving phrases: proclaim, declare, and have due process. Proclaim, declare, and have due process. That's something that you got to know. The religious rights of the indigenous people. House Joint Resolution 75. Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15. Now, going back, when I'm saying your religious rights trump everything, so your nationality and your spirituality connects those two. So your spirituality should be your brotherhood, teaching you your nationality and your spirituality for the record. You know? Think about what I'm saying. So when a person's saying what's the right way to claim your nationality, remember, you can do a lot of things on your own, but the religious laws trump everything, your nationality and your spirituality. So I'll give you an analogy. For myself, I have a charter. My charter is set up a certain way. I'm part of the Moorish Zion Temple of America. Could I plant my flag in different areas? Yes. Do I confer degrees? Yes. Do my temple and school have ID? Yes, we have school ID, which explain who we are. Do it replace anything? No. Stop. Remember, in our declaration, stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your ID is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequences. So, number one, none of this stuff replaces nothing. When I be telling people we have been misconstrued, a lot of people got this from the conscious community. They just don't want to admit it from a certain individual. When people talk about, oh, they're gonna do a status correction, and I'm telling people he got this person studied Roger Elvick. This is what I'm telling people, not catching what I'm saying. This stuff only became popular at a certain time. Wasn't nobody doing this. Roger Elvick was doing it in this redemption movement and the paradigm group. And then when certain individuals got wind to that, when that conscious stuff came out, it sort of twisted it and say a status correction. When I say, what are you status correcting? Remember, your mother, your last name. I left my plaques. Remember, I showed y'all my plaques and the patch on my arm, my family crest, my coat of arms. My family crest, my coat of arms. Remember, I always say the copy you. We have to know what's going on in the world. So when we talk about connecting ourselves to the nations of the world, we talk about our national name. When I say at the House during Revolution, so when I connecting ourselves to the nations is annexing our L or our Bay to our name. You know, in that context. Annexing, just like Noble Drew Ali, Timothy Drew, he didn't change nothing. He annexed Ali to what? To his last name, Noble Drew Ali. Just like you could say Noble Goodman Bay, you know. And so when I talk about things, but as a unity, things can be done on paper. So let's reverse back to the Moorish Sign Temple of America, and I just use the Moorish Sign Temple of America, which is only one, which I'm part of. So say if we in Chicago and you go to the temple and say, hey man, at least I want to be, be a part of the temple and, be part of the temple and this and that and the other and blah, 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 and whatever it is, it's a process to get your paperwork and all that because they got to make ID cards and this and that and the other. And if you study in whatever process, that's fine and dandy. But it don't take you from nothing. It don't change nothing. This is what I be telling people. When I show y'all the 1099, the paper from the CCRD, none of this stuff go nowhere. Like all these people just holders of what the people say. So I hope people understand it. If it's not the Moorish Science Temple of America, then you might as well do it on your own. If it's not done the right way, no one can nationalize you and denationalize you. This is what I be telling people when they be like, well, the way to do it, when I give people the research, when I give people the paper, when I show people the state booklet and all the stuff that I'm talking about, when you go over things and you see things and you highlight things and it's things you don't know, then we can go back and then we can have dialogue because you can have manuscripts. You're going to be cross-referencing. And before you even open your mouth again, it's going to take you a week because you're going to get all your notes and you're going to be like, man, this man already answered what I said. What I was asking. And this is what I be telling people. Most people don't have their hands on things. So when the people be asking me how to do what? Claim your nationality. I said one way for you to claim your nationality is out of your mouth. Proclaim, declare, and have due process. Another one is stand on your square. You meet a sheik like myself from the temple, and I have a school, and you deal with that the right way. Court meetings like everybody else, all my people from different states. You get your feds and all your turbans and things from someone that's home cooking it. Why buy all this stuff? Because it's cheap. It's not going to a community. So all these things can be taught to you the right way. And the right way is learning first. That's what I tell people. The right way of anything is learning. You want to learn. You don't want me just to sell you nothing. You don't want, I got this ID, and then you get your head bust with flashing some ID, or someone tell you to get rid of your driver's license and your insurance, then you get pulled over and you calling somebody on the phone and they talk about some secret meeting on Jekyll Island while you getting your car towed. All this stuff that I'm telling y'all has nothing to do with Moorish science. That's that bum stuff. We're not operating on no bum stuff. This is what I tell people. It's like that's not it for me. We're here to establish certain things and use our funds to build things. Understand how to do this stuff. Not out here trying to get our people caught up and put them back in slavery as paper terrorists, because that's the only thing that's happening. These individuals are putting people back in slavery, putting you back as a paper terrorist. How? Because none of that, all that stuff is meaningless, and no one in their right mind can tell you if it makes sense. They can't, because I go way deeper with it, and all that stuff holds nothing. All you got to do is ask them where's the all that stuff and your information being held. Who is it going to? Where that information going when you sign all this? Where is it going? Where your ID getting made? What all this mean? I'm telling y'all, it's just like, with all due respect, though, I know them people that was out of China when they were saying D some dang Moorish American travel ID, and they had Aaliyah and Janet Jackson and all that. And I said, y'all got to be crazy. So somebody can make something up and say it's your passport, that's just a regular person, and you buy it, and then you think you can get out of the country with that. And if you do get out of the country in that, Lord forbid, I say good luck to you. That just tell you how messed up the system is. Y'all remember when Mos Def got that world passport? You see what problem he had getting back into the States with a world passport, and everybody tried to have you to do something else and do this, do this. I said, why don't you just get a passport with your fez on or your turban, and then next your L and Bay? What's the purpose? After everybody be doing this stuff, I ask these brothers, okay, what's the purpose? Have your life changed? No, your life be worse. And I'll be telling y'all, it's not real. People should be asking questions. I'm here to save lives. I'm here to save lives. Yes, you have the right. I told y'all the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15, your nationality and your spirituality. So number one, I'll give y'all an analogy like when the so-called pandemic was out. And a lot of my brothers, a lot of my muftis and my ministers was worried about them having to get jab because of their job. But we have a religious exempt. And all of them got it, saying we're not for or against nothing, but we have the right to do what? Not participate in it. So when I tell people the religious laws trump everything, so a lot of people, yes, you can do things on your own, but you're not a part of nothing. When people say you can do this on your own, no, it takes two or more. The scripture says when two or more gather. So when people be saying you can do this on your own, and then you got to defend that, you would be lying, because on paper it's nothing. On paper, that's who we are. And no one can arbitrarily explain who you are and who you're not. And I hope people be catching me when I talk about the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15. So in our spirituality, in our temple and school, which is our nationality and our spirituality, which is the 2/5 that was taken from the so-called misnomer black man in slavery, and our spirituality and our religion and our brotherhood on paper, this is who we identify as. And we have temple and school ID, and how we identify. And if a group of brothers that anything happen, hey, we come in for defense of our brother, being judged among their peers with the body of work that we done over the course of years. We've been doing a lot of body of work, and if everything go right, we're gonna be doing some work with the youth in a plethora of cities with these programs. But once again, like I said, I don't mind asking the people for donations and get books and things, and because we operate in the right manifestation. But if anybody want to learn things, and if anybody was getting ready to do something wrong, y'all know my inbox. GoodmanKhary@gmail.com. That's GoodmanKhary@gmail.com. My office number is 602-473-8767. I'm in Michigan right now, so it's late, so I'm about to sit back and study, and I got to hit these weights late night. I do 2-a-days. But I have a full library, man. Turbans and fez. I sell all that stuff on morrishaberdasher.com, but you can get with me personally. Anything you see on my social media pages on Facebook and on Instagram, if you don't see it on my company page, get with me. I can ship it directly to you from my warehouse. But once again, brothers and my sisters, it's only one way to do things. It's the right way. And no man, no woman, no temple, not even me, I can't nationalize you or denationalize you. It'll change you from the descendant natures of your foremothers and forefathers. And even anybody that do that, it's a sin. But if you willing to do things out of your mouth, if you willing to profess and say you part of this and this, that, and the other, which the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School represent, which I am a part of the Moorish Science Temple of America, which is only one. That's why I speak the way I speak. I didn't want to go against the temple, because the way the temple is set up is right. With the state booklet, everything, how the prophet set the temple up is right. So, planting a flag, I said, well, you know what? I'll create my own school, which is the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. And I had my building in Arizona. I used to let Christians and Muslims come before I dealt with these goofy Moors, and I had to shut it down because they was criminals. But make a long story short, I teach everybody that want to learn. I'm a Sufi. I'm a Tasawwuf. And if you melanated, we should have some common denominator. And that's what I teach. And that's going to be the bridge. When most Moors only dealing with, they want to deal with the civic part, with how I nationalize and all this, and don't want to deal with the divine, because when you deal with the divine, when I teach the divine, you have a common spirit. A common spirit for what? To allow you to accept information instead of one, and think it's going to change your life. We're not trying to play the lottery. We're trying to correct a way of life. I'm trying to resurrect a thought process and what we profess and what we thought. And the only way to do that is through education. The only way to do that is do it the right way. So it can't be this group of Moors doing this and this group of Moors doing this. You got these Moors talking about they some consulate generals. You got these Moors talking about they the USAR and the president of Morocco. And I'm like, well, who elected you? How long is your tenure? Then you got these other group of people. Then you got this person say they the Moroccan general. Then you got these other brothers say that we Moroccans. And I'm like, okay, well, that ain't what the prophet taught. And then they use a little stuff what the prophets taught, and then say this, and then they all set tripping with each other. I'm like, dude, it's only one teaching. So with that being said, man, I thank y'all, man. If y'all need any of them documents from me, hit me up. I gave you my information so you can read it for yourself. You definitely need the state booklet. You need the letter from the CCR, the county clerk, recorder of deeds. And I mean, anything else we can build on, the council of courts, if a Moor kill a U.S. citizen, or if a U.S. citizen kill a Moor, that Moor is going to be judged in the same parameters of that U.S. citizen. Man, brothers and sisters really need to be educated on what's going on before you mess your life up. I'm telling you. And these people that you're dealing with these fictitious names, they're going to just go away in the wind. And they're going to start talking about all the old stuff. Regurgitate the old stuff. But no, we're talking about moving forward and building a community. That's what this is about, educating our youth and infrastructure and bringing people together with these skills, so we can depend on ourselves. That's what this about. It can't be no whole bunch of different Moors acting like Crips and Bloods and Pyru like we locked up. That ain't what this is about, family. I mean, more science, we're not no Al-Islam, we're not no government body, be trying to overthrow no government. It's a school. And we under the triple roles. We understand the Paraclete, the Fatimid, the Jerusalem, the Christian, because we Tasawwuf, and we don't believe in anything outside of ourselves. Anything outside of ourselves is true shirk. The closest place to find God, Allah, Buddha, etc., is in our heart. And so that's what we teach here at the BBT. We teach the Gnostic, we teach the esoteric, the exoterics, we teach linguistics, we teach understanding, we teach all facets of history, we teach anatomy, we teach sociology, biology, all facets of history, different dispensations, group economics, language, and so health and wealth, agriculture. And so that's what we're here to share. And when it comes down to who we are as a people, man, we cannot let these people continue to just because they put on a fez and a turban and say, this is who we are, and say, do this and sign this piece of paper. I'm telling you, don't even do that. Because where all this piece of paper going? Where all this piece of paper going that you're going to sign with these individuals? Where's your information going? You're not changing that. And if you let these people tell you to expatriate from this de facto government and you become a domestic terrorist, foreign and abroad, I already done warned you. So you can't be mad at what happened to you. Listen what I'm telling you. You do not want to play that game. So I hope people listening to your brother, and like I said, any questions that y'all want to ask me, come ask me, because I'm telling you, you want to know. And so when brothers was asking me what's the proper way to do some status correction, remember, you're not doing no status correction because you your mother's son. It's an understanding. When you start understanding and signing and doing certain things and operating, when you understand your nationality and spirituality, when those two connect, you get with the right body. You get with the right body. You get with the right body, because understanding as an individual, that's just one facet. Remember that. Understanding as an individual, that's just one facet. That's proclaiming, that's declaring. Then you need due process. You proclaim, you declare, you have due process. When you be part of something, and it's like the temple of the BBT, it's almost like when you do a third party marriage. It's a certain way that things be done. I'm telling you. And when you part of your religion, your spiritual house, they have the right to do everything. Remember that. It just have to be put on notice. That's why when I tell people, when you part of your religion, your spiritual house, you don't have to get a marriage license. Your spiritual house can do it, and your religion can trump all that. And this is what I be telling people. You don't have to involve a third party in that contract. I'm telling you, based on the laws. Just like when you have a birth. I told you the Declaration of Human Rights. So once again, brothers and sisters, I'm right here for y'all. If y'all want to do things right, when I say I have a temple in the school, do my temple and school have ID? Yes, for our temple and school. Do our temple and school have a tax ID? Yes, for our temple and school. Do people get books and stuff from me when they part of my temple and school and they donate each month a small fee and I give them tax exempt receipts? Yes. We have a whole platform. We have coats and everything. So, yes. And so I be wanting brothers and sisters to hit me up. I have everything for you. Y'all been following me on social media and TikTok and Facebook for years. You have to understand, I've been courting y'all forever, and I'm still here, and I'm not going nowhere. I promise you. I say what I'm saying with a bullhorn. I've been battle tested. So what I'm saying, I don't have a problem with what I'm saying. What I'm telling y'all, don't do something that all you have to do is hit me up. If anything you need and you want to ask, you can hit me up, because we can't keep sending our brothers and sisters and burning their houses. And with these people that send people and burn their houses, they still the ones regurgitating, trying to twist it. No one can nationalize you. No one can denationalize you. It been people out here saying they can do this with the so-called Grand Sheik and that dude Shalimar Bey. And I told people what's going to happen. I said, this not right. I told people all of the Jedi mind trick, even when that brother Michael Novak was out. And people was like, what you mean? They were like, who you mean Michael Novak, Sheik? I said, I know this person's real name. I said, I know they handle. I said, when the person say their language, it's not hard for me to research nobody. Why? Because if you was part of something and I'm part of something, people reach out to me. Scholars have their own thing. And I'm like, Michael Novak. I'm like, oh, I know the Jedi mind trick, man. That's why I be telling, I know people affiliates, how? By the language that they speak. And so when you're a truth teller, you can speak that language. And when that language is being exhumed, they back down, because they know it can be what? Illuminated. I'm telling you what it is, with all due respect. That's why I say, man, we have to be careful with these individuals that just pop up and say they're the Sultan of this, and say that we some Moroccans and we this and that and the other. And I said, if you're a Moroccan, why don't you have Moroccan citizenship? And if that, and these people telling you to expatriate, well, why don't you just expatriate and get your citizenship from Morocco? It ain't even gonna happen. You're gonna be a domestic terrorist. It's that easy. And this is what these people telling y'all to do. These people are telling y'all to expatriate and be part of their stupid religion, because it ain't no citizen, it ain't no country, it ain't nothing. So then you will be a domestic terrorist. And that's what these Negroes having these empresses do with that USAR stuff, with all due respect. And then I seen the dude on the internet begging, talking about he in trouble, he need help, he need legal help. I told y'all, this stuff is crazy. It's like a whole bunch of retarded people that dropped out of school playing a game. And then the game that you playing, when it really gets serious, when you really start dealing with the things that you're doing, you start asking for help, and it's over. And this is what I be telling people. I said, man, come on, man. And we can't talk about this. I said, dude, y'all playing a dangerous game with talk about you ain't an American citizen and all this, and you not this, you're gonna expatriate, and then when you renounce your citizenship or your affiliates, when you expatriate from this de facto government, you can't even tell me out your mouth when you do that, who do you have affiliates with? You ain't even thought about that. When you, you expatriate from the de facto government, and then you do that, listen to these jacklegs, to these ex-crackheads, and when you do that, tell me, who do you have an affiliate with when you still living in that house on Section 8? How? You will be a domestic terrorist, foreign and abroad. You a prime candidate for the FEMA camp. Am I lying or am I telling the truth? Now, am I lying or am I telling the truth? This should be easy. I done warned you. I done gave the holy breath, and I don't care how it's spilled out. I don't care if it's a Negro with his hair all over his head with gold teeth telling you can feel this and do this. That's cap. I'm telling you, because these people know. I used to be in Vegas too. They were just skinny. That stuff be cap, man. And then they be on these podcasts. I said, these people on these podcasts finna get in trouble too. Why? Because it's payola. They ain't warning the people as an infomercial. At least on BET, when Carney Wilson and the lady Cleo, when he be like, call me now. And the dude talk about the prayer package. At least they told you it was an infomercial. These people with these podcasts is just as guilty because they know that's cap too. Ain't none of them people on there done it. Don't you? Haven't y'all realized that? How these gurus so great? You get these gurus on the podcast, and none of the people on the podcast have done none of the stuff the gurus on there saying. They on there, yep, that's powerful. That stuff ain't powerful. And I'll be like, man, and that's why I said it ain't just the men, it's the women too. When they say a man will lie in your face, a woman will lie in your face too. Because it be women that's the host of these podcasts. I say, man, I don't trust these women just like the men. Why? Because look at them up there lying with that bull crap. For ratings, look up what payola mean. This stuff is payola. I told y'all, this is an old Jedi mind trick. It's the same way what the conscious community did with the Black Wall Street. The same thing with, they got, my man, the Muslim dude talk about, they got the land, the never lands. They don't got no land. Where the land at now? It ain't no land. I told people this. I said, this stuff is fake. It's all fake. With the consulate general, all fake. See? And people get mad, and these people still be here representing, and they're trying to reinvent themselves. I'm like, no, man, that stuff fake. All that stuff fake. All of it. All of it's fake. Because if you got something so special, you might as well do it yourself. Hell, if you want something special, it ain't gonna mean nothing. If you want to set up yourself, all you gotta do is hit me up. You give me a donation. I'll show you how to make all your goddamn paperwork for yourself. You want to get a seal? I'll show you how to make a seal. Go to Office Max Staple, get your seal. Your seal will be just as valid as anybody else stupid seal. I'm telling you, big facts. Because they ain't got that stuff from nowhere. They ain't got them seals from the Morris Sign Temple of America nowhere. I'm telling you, we don't give seals. Them niggas got those bad boys made at Office Max Staples or off Amazon. Or the ID, it's a website that make that ID. This stuff don't mean poo diddly. I'm telling y'all. And they can't be mad at what I'm saying because it's cap. And I'm tired of people getting caught up, especially our empresses. Only thing they can make you a part of is their religion. And when you expatriate from the de facto government, you become a domestic terrorist. You become stateless. Why would you do that? Tell me, why would you do that? You can't even explain. And you got all these individuals telling you, and these girls holding up, look, I done joined this citizenship. So I'm like, you expatriated, lady, and you on welfare Section 8, they about to kick you out. I hope y'all paying attention to what your brother's saying, because I love y'all. And I ain't even I haven't even went all the way. People are doing things wrong, and they know that you don't know. So when people know that you don't know, and they know that you're not connecting interests, you gonna believe anything. So they get on these podcasts with this outlandish crap, and no one's there to never to check them. No one's there never to say nothing. It was just like in that conscious community. When I told people, I'm too old to know a Jedi mind trick. I'm too old to know how, when I be seeing people coming together, I say, oh, they working together. I told people off the top, when I saw things, when people speak, I'm like, this is a form of masonry. This is a form of higher science. When I say masonry, it don't mean it's no bad science, but it's a form of a higher science. And when I knew, I'm like, oh, this brother was a part of the New Wabian. I'm like, this brother the part of Dr. York. Why? Because when I start seeing brothers wear the fez, you know? When I start seeing people wear the fez, I'm like, oh, so I see the language, and then I see the play, and people be acting like, I said, dude, I'm telling you what's happening. You cannot play these games. You cannot play. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like, whatever. I said, I bet you y'all don't know these people names. I bet you ain't nobody went to court and won nothing. I bet you everything is fictitious. I bet you everything attached to these people's names is not what they saying. Because this stuff been said for decades, for eons, for years. And I'm telling y'all, no one can nationalize you. It be dudes on the internet, oh, I gotta hurry up and send this paperwork in. I'm sending people status correction. I said, to where? When you getting all these people paperwork and these packages and you doing all this mail fraud from this jurisdiction to this jurisdiction, because that's how they get on the mail fraud. And when you get subpoenaed, where all these people information going? And what you think you changed, where you think you got out of and got into, I'll wait. Where do you think this stuff is registered at? I'll wait. And your ID and everything, your birth certificate, all this stuff the same. Everything is still the same. Everything is still the same. Everything, your status, everything is still the same. But you done said, well, I want to get this paper from this person. And that's what Bobby Hemmett told everybody back in the day in 95. That's that paper terror stuff. You going to jail. Because you thinking you trying to overthrow the government. Think about it. You a tyrant. and people not even seeing it. And I'm like, dude, where y'all getting this stuff from? And I'm like, dude, all this stuff started during the conscious community, and then people figured out a way to make money. You had these people that was what did they call it? RV-based publishing. You had these people publishing. Well, I claim my nationality through RV-based publishing. And I said, how can you claim your nationality with some people you met on the internet? I'll just wait. Like, because if that's the case, you might as well do it yourself. You can't even explain that to me with no way. Well, I claim my nationality through RV-based publishing. So what you do, you send all these people your information with your kid information, birth certificate, social security number, all this, some money, and then you get a whole bunch of paperwork from somebody. That's nothing. That's nothing. What are you learning? Nothing. And all these individuals, they say the same thing. They be paper terrorists. Their whole lingo will be the same thing. Oh, I'm teaching people their nationality and their inheritance. I say, what inheritance? What vast estate? What vast estate? We got to trust. You don't got no trust. Ain't no trust fund. Ain't nothing, no trust fund. The Morris Science Temple of America don't own Pooh Diddley. Hell, the temples don't even be open up, the ones that's really the temple. So miss me with that trust. Ain't no trust. It ain't no trust. You mean trustees, but it ain't no goddamn go trust. It ain't no money attached to no Morris Science Temple nowhere. If anybody talking that, they lying through their teeth. I'm telling y'all, man. Listen, even these people that with these badges walk around with a badge with an AA22 number on it, dude, that's cap. And then you be seeing everybody, oh, I need that badge. So here it is, somebody got a badge with an AA22 number on it, because somebody asked me when I was like, do you got a badge, Sheik? And I said, I be knowing where these people get it from. That's why I say certain things. And I said, where would I get a badge from? And what would a badge do for me if I'm breaking any law? What would a badge with an A22 number on it? And where you gonna get it made from? That's cosmetics. And what is it gonna prove? When the police pull you over, I'm gonna pull out this badge. Hey, the AA22 number on it. Oh, whatever I'm doing, I'm exempt. That's cap. And this is what I be telling y'all. And so people will say some good things, and then they'll have this cosmetic on, and then talk to a group of people will see some pageantry, and everybody want that bull crap. And then people try to make some money off that stuff and get people head bust. I'm telling you, I don't care if a person says some good stuff and all that, and then you rock with that badge and talk in front of people. I'm telling you, you cap too. And if you did it, and you know the pretense that you did before you done it is premeditated. Am I saying, remember what a trust is. I ain't saying nothing. I ain't, now, somebody, like I'm on YouTube, somebody say, are you saying the MST they don't have a trust? I ain't saying nothing. What I'm saying is, if you know how the temple is set up, you will know. It ain't nothing in there. It ain't no trust. If you know how the temple is set up with the state booklet, I broke this down. I told people I'd give them the state booklet. It ain't what I'm saying. I'm saying how the temple is set up. When people be saying trustee, when I say it ain't no trust, it ain't no trust fund. This is what I'm telling people. It ain't no trust. People be getting words out of context. Trustee with powers as this and that and the other and X, Y, Z, that's appointed, crossed out, elected, appointed. So when people be saying it, what I'm saying, I'm not saying this. I'm saying how the temple is set up. And so if anybody know how the temple is set up, if they part of the Morris Science Temple of America, then they'd be like, well, yes, this man is saying valid. If not, then this is what we get. Because it ain't about what I'm saying. It's just like if I'm part of the Boy Scouts, and I just said in our state booklet, I say X, Y, Z, and if I say this is our state booklet, this is how our temple is set up, and I say X, Y, Z, it ain't what I'm saying. I'm going based on our manuals. So remember, no one should care what I say. If I'm talking about the MSTA, I'm talking about how the Morris Science Temple is set up, and I'm part of the Morris Science Temple set up. I'm a sheik through the Morris Science Temple of America, which is only one. I'm talking about how the Morris Science Temple is set up with our paperwork, with how the temple is set up. So when people talk about trust and trust funds and government and body politic, people have to be corrected. That's all I'm saying. This all I'm telling people. When I tell people, I said I broke down documents when a person would be like, dang, when I said the 1099, what you can get from the letter of from the county clerk, recorder of deeds, telling you that the 1099 is no trust fund at the end of the rainbow. It's a religious affidavit. So if a person had that, and that was issued out in 2016 to Sheik Love L, and Sheik Love L, then that'll clear up a lot right there. They'll be like, oh man. You'll be like, man, brother already explained it. So one explanation would explain a plethora. It'll be like a domino effect. So when a person be like, clearly, I just said, it ain't no trust. Why? Because people getting it twisted, thinking the 1099 is some trust fund at the end of the rainbow. When a person say, what you mean? They be like, he just explained it. He just said. When a person said, do the Moorish Zion Temple of America have a trust? And Sheikh says, the 1099 is no trust fund at the end of the rainbow. It's a religious affidavit that anyone can look up to pay a fee from the CCRD, the County Clerk Recorder of Deeds. That's explained everything. So that's the answer. And if a person wants the document from the letter from the CCRD, which is the County Clerk Recorder of Deeds, you can research it yourself, pay a small fee, or I have all these documents that I paid to get it. That's all I'm saying. So when a person say what I'm saying, it ain't what I'm saying. It's what's already documented. That's how people fabricate things, because individuals are not into the know. So a person can just say some stuff, and you can let them drop all that stuff down and be looking at them like this, and be like, man, you don't know this Sheikh Goodman Bey already done gave me this. They'll be like, you lying, and they just keep going lying and keep going to lying, and they won't correct it. And so you can be like, man, I know you're not sincerely wrong. What you're doing is premeditated. You have a motive. That's what's happening, because these people cannot say they Moorish Zion Temple of America and don't know what I'm talking about. It just don't work that way. And it's public information. This is what I tell people. I said, this, you know this public information, don't you? So when a person said, what you mean, the Moorish Zion Temple don't have no trust? No. The 1099, the trust fund, no, it ain't. It's a religious affidavit. So no, the Moorish Zion Temple don't have no trust. A trust what? You got to have something to put in a trust, or irrevocable trust, or a living trust. It got to be something in there. It got to be something in there. Either people got to put gold and diamonds and houses are in it, or it'd be just the people. You know? Like, for life, power of attorney. That's all it'd be. Ain't nobody donating to it. So when the person say the trust and they be acting like there's some pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, lies, I tell you, lies. That's all I be telling people, is lies. This stuff be lies. These people be lies because they know people don't know. That ain't Moorish Zion Temple. That's their garbage. I know, not garbage, gabbage. I call it gabbage. It's all garbage. And see, this stuff is too simple. So with that being said, y'all, I'm right here. I love y'all. Subscribe to our Temple and School YouTube channel at Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. Ask questions, man. Don't get caught up in none of this fallacy. Whatever you need to know, I'm right here. I gave y'all my email. I gave y'all my office number, you know? So it's no reason for people to be going and burning houses. It's no reason for you not to know. It's no reason for you not to, let me hit this brother or let me ask him a question, because I know what's happening with people. They're getting caught up. Just like I show you the whole scenario with that rise of the Moor stuff. I'll show you how it play out. I'll show you what the end. I know these people real names, what really happened, and you don't want to go down these roads because these people not going to tell you what they into when they get everybody caught up in a RICO. They're not going to tell you. It's going to be too late. And then people are going to plead themselves to the courts because they don't have their own attorneys. They're going to get court-appointed attorneys. You're going to start pleading to a lesser charge. You're going to start running your mouth. You're going to start making YouTube videos like the brother from the, with all due respect, this was sent to me. That's why I'm talking about it. Like these brothers that say they some governors and they got all this and they be having all these fake pictures with like they in a library in a courthouse, and then one of their brothers, I guess from the USAR, on the internet begging for help. Talking about his case and he can't do this and travel and it's not. But I thought these people are supposed to be so wisdom and in their community. And in the community, I thought you have all these things. I thought you have your, how can I say, your legal rep that represents you in your best interest when you're going through these things. That can get you precedent in law cases, doc number, Free Information Act, you know, quid pro quo, the Chicago Law Review, a lot of things that's going on. So you can be like, man, you know, these things are going to happen. XYZ, and brothers don't have that. And so what we get caught up in all these different groups of people debating with each other, saying their knockoff Jordans is better than this person knockoff Jordans, saying they paper that you're going to file is better than them. You got these people saying that we're not Moorish Americans, we're Moroccans and this and that and the other. And I say, dude, and then you got all these people doing their own thing. And then you got people that's on these podcasts saying you can file this piece of paperwork and do this and cancel corporate debt and all this stuff and all this paper terrorist stuff. these people saying that they made $3 million during the COVID. And I told y'all, anybody can say anything. And what do you think a person made $3 million doing? What do you think? That's on social media. What have you doing if you don't sell supplies? You selling people packages? Like I told y'all, man, this stuff is outlandish. Don't get caught up in no Roger Elvick stuff, man, and lose your life and lose your freedom. We should be here to have conversations and debate, not debate, but discussion to get people over the hump. Especially if you promulgating this more science stuff, you should not be doing nothing wrong, and you should want clarity. And anything about this more science, if I have a temple in your area, if you're not dealing with a sheik, a teacher, I'm right here. I'm right here. All y'all got to do is hit me up. I'm a real person. I love y'all, and peace.